Well, welcome back, everybody. Apologies for the technical issues. This is part of the reason that we ran a trial for the virtual council meetings. Now, it won't change anything as far as the debate and the decision-making goes tonight with the meeting. It's just that we're not in the same room. We are streaming online as usual. And you may also have noticed that we have a few extra faces tonight among the 11 councillors. Firstly, we have our acting CEO, Michael Degina, and we also have our Junior Mayor, Farzana Hosseini, and Junior Deputy Mayor, Ashley Delaney. So welcome, very special welcome to our Junior Mayor and Deputy Mayor. And Ashley Delaney will be presenting the report tonight, and they're both representing the Youth Council. So this will be the second report from the group this year, and we're really delighted to have them with us. We just wish we could have them in the chamber. So maybe another time in the very near future we can have our junior councillors in the chamber with us. Now, regarding the agenda tonight, it is quite a small agenda. We do try and manage the flow of business through the CEO and the Director of Governance. We have had quite a few really big council meetings, and the June 30 meeting, which is our next one, is also a very full agenda. So we selected tonight as the ideal opportunity to trial the virtual meeting without disrupting too many big ticket items. So tonight's meeting will be a little bit shorter. If we have any more tech issues, it'll be very short, but hopefully that won't occur. And we do look forward to a very full agenda at the end of June. So we will begin. Do we have any apologies for this evening? I don't think we do. Everybody's here. Do we have any requests for leaves of absence from councillors tonight? No, we don't. Okay, thank you. We need to confirm the minutes from the last meeting. So may I please have a mover and seconder to confirm the minutes from the community-focused council meeting held on the 12th of May 2020. Thank you, Councillor Mansfield. Seconded, Councillor Mason. Carried. All those vote for the minutes last time, please. Hands up. Thank you. Those against? None. Carried. Thank you. Getting used to the rhythm of the hands on the screen. Now, do we have any direct declarations of conflict of interest this evening? With quite a short agenda, I don't imagine that we do, so no, thank you very much. If any do arise during the meeting, please make them known. Now, public question and submission time. We have continued to accept questions and submissions to Council online, and I'd like to note tonight that we do have an amendment to our public question and submission time policy to guide us through this period of COVID-19. We've received 6 questions and submissions for tonight's meeting. Each person has now received a response via email, and it's also important to note that each councillor has read every question and submission sent in. And thank you to the following people who have sent in submissions or questions for tonight. We've had questions from Vicky Perrott, Sally Fisher, Neil Plummer, Sanya Van Hewitt, Karen Campbell and Noreen Nicholson. So thank you to those people, and they have received answers already. Now, do we have any petitions for this evening? I don't think we do. And if we did have a petition, the process would be that would be tabled during this meeting and then picked up from the councillor's home and formally tabled. Now, as I said, we welcome tonight Farzana Hosseini, the Mayor of the Youth Council, and also Ashley Delaney, the Deputy Mayor of the Youth Council. And thank you to both of us for joining us online tonight. I'd like to now ask Ashley to present the Youth Council's second report. So welcome, Ashley.
Hello, everyone. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the Wadawurrung people, the traditional owners of this land, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, as well as acknowledging all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people present this evening. Good evening, Mayor Stephanie Asher, Greater Geelong councillors and directors, youth councillors and everyone else streaming at home. My name is Ashley Delaney and I am the Junior Deputy Mayor for the Youth Council. Tonight I will outline the progress and achievements of the Youth Council since our last report. These last few months have looked very different for all of us, and I am happy to say that the Youth Council was still able to meet virtually during these challenging times. This has allowed us to complete all of our expectations and goals the Youth Council would usually discuss and accomplish in our monthly meetings. Over the last 2 months, we've achieved many things we would like to share. In our April meeting on Zoom, we were lucky enough to have 2 presentations, one about the Aldershot Reserve Concept Plan and another on Council's Social Infrastructure Plan. The youth councillors were able to provide advice that focused on helping young people in our community benefit from these plans as much as possible. The youth council were able to come together to vote on both the native vegetation mascot naming competition as well as the postcard competition. We are especially proud that the winning postcard design would be sent to isolated members in our community, hopefully bringing joy in a time of much uncertainty and hardship. The Youth Council have also been discussing ways to communicate and engage with the community. We are excited to use the Youth Engagement app, which will be a great way for us to get feedback, opinions, and information from young people we are representing. The Youth Council Instagram account has also recently been created with the plans to produce content that engages with the Geelong community. These platforms will be our best and most effective form of communication to engage with the large number of young people, hopefully meaning we can reach a lot more of the Geelong community. Finally, one of the many privileges that the Geelong Youth Council have had since our last report is the chance to be involved in choosing the categories for the 2020 Geelong Youth Awards. The Youth Council chose 6 categories, including Youth Educator, Equality Award, Leadership/Positive Role Model, Diverse Cultural Contribution, Art and Music, Disability Inclusion Award. These categories were voted with the priorities and views of the Youth Council, and nominations to recognise the amazing young people in our community closed on Friday 19th of June. To help promote the awards, the Junior Mayor interviewed by the Pulse community radio station, and the Deputy Junior Mayor recorded a voiceover advertisement used to promote the awards on the Pulse. Using the information and feedback the Youth Council has received in these and other interactions over the past 2 months, we would like to use this report as a chance to offer feedback to our council. Firstly, an interesting and concerning point was made at our April meeting regarding the lack of social infrastructure in the Geelong community that is fully dedicated to our youth. The Fort, which is a regional facility that provides free programs and safe spaces for young people to relax, socialise and interact with other young people in our community, is located in the Windermere ward and is the only fully dedicated youth infrastructure in our city. It was brought forward by Youth Council members the importance of the Fort and the benefits we would see if there was an increase in youth infrastructure in the Geelong community. Youth Council were impressed by the city's draft social infrastructure plan and agreed that there should be additional dedicated and integrated youth drop-in spaces across the Geelong region. With this in mind, Youth Council would like to advocate that Council invests in the creation of fort-like facilities in all council wards across the Geelong local government areas. Secondly, mental health is an issue that not only impacts our community but the world today. We acknowledge the amazing work done to date by the Council, as this is an issue that the Youth Council is very passionate about and one of our priorities for 2020. We feel that there needs to be more done in the community regarding mental health acknowledgement and understanding for young people. The Council's Youth Development Unit provides mental health first aid courses that have been rolled out in some Geelong secondary schools, and we see this as a great start to improving this issue. However, we do feel that it is crucial for all schools in Geelong to have this program to see the true benefit, as after restrictions are lifted, mental health will be a critical issue for young people. After discussing the importance of this issue, Youth Council would like to advocate that additional youth development staff are trained in mental health first aid. Also, Youth Council would like to suggest that Council publicly encourage all schools to take up the opportunity provided by Council as a matter of urgency. As we move forward and prepare for our next report, Youth Council's focus will continuing to collaborate with more young people and to utilise the digital engagement tools that we have available to us. We believe this is especially important during these times of uncertainty. The Youth Council will continue to meet monthly to discuss ideas, proposals and provide advice to Council to better the Geelong community and help have a positive impact. We will continue to learn from those around us and share our thoughts through the Councillor Connect mentoring program sessions. We're excited to have respectful and interesting discussions with our ward councillors to understand their views on issues that are important to us. To conclude, the Geelong Youth Council have been working very hard over the last 2 months and have faced challenges regarding COVID-19, but we have been able to work through these together. The next report to Council will be on Tuesday, 25th of August, with another update on our work, achievements and potential proposals we may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for your presentation tonight. That was a fantastic report, and to both you and Fazana for joining us tonight. It's really inspiring to see the work that you guys are doing, the Youth Council, and I know that I certainly enjoyed our ward meeting and the catch-up then. So hopefully we can see more of you in the chamber as well. And on behalf of the Council, I'd like to acknowledge all the members of the Youth Council as well. We're really pleased with the work that you're doing. So great job. That takes us into Section B, reports, and the first item on the agenda is the Youth Council's second report 2020, and that will be moved by Councillor Grisbeck and seconded by Councillor Mason. Thank you, Councillor Grisbeck.
Thank you, Mayor Asher, and thank you to our Junior Mayor and Deputy Mayor, and what a great report we've received. I think that just from their second report already, we're getting some amazing, things that are coming through from them as recommendations to Council. And look, I never thought about the fort. That was the only youth service in Geelong dedicated, and what a great idea. I really think that this Youth Council continues to bring us amazing ideas from the youth, and this report is just one example of that. I think some of that mental health facilitated training is a really good idea, and let's hope that we can roll that out across many schools across Geelong. It's really important, as the Deputy Mayor has said. And look, they will focus on hopefully some kind of awards towards the end of the year, and in any way in which we might be able to hold them, whether it's virtually or in person. I'm sure that we'll work towards that with them. And thank you to the team behind the Youth Council. You've got the support team and the youth team. They've done an amazing job so far. So that's probably all at this stage, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Mayor Asher. And Madam Mayor, I really fully endorse all that the Deputy Mayor has just said. This is really an excellent report, and it shows that a lot of work has been done despite the great difficulties of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the effects of that have been on not only the Youth Council but us all. And our junior councillors have really risen to the occasion. They've been resilient and shown all of us their high level of community and social awareness. I thank the Junior Mayor, Fazana Hosseini, for Windermere Ward, and the Deputy Junior Mayor, Ashley Delaney Cardinia, for their leadership and teamwork in ensuring that they held their first Zoom meeting in April. And as a consequence, we now have this comprehensive report with some very substantial advice. And Junior Deputy Mayor Ashley has done a great job in preparing and delivering this report, describing the results of very impressive collaboration by the Junior Council. And so to the report itself. What an inspiring idea to keep the environment issues alive with the introduction of the concept of a municipal native vegetation mascot and a youth survey for its name. And what a name, Alfred. This is a very clever and creative choice. As we know, owls are mythologically known for their wisdom, but they are at the top of their food chain, and they'll always want a healthy environment or they'll have no food. I'm sure Alfred is a powerful owl. This owl species is indigenous to southeastern Australia and is an early messenger on environmental health. He's like the canary in the mine, much larger though. And Councillor Grisbeck has already mentioned so many other things. And thank you also to Ashley. There is the Youth Engagement app and the Junior Council Instagram account. And I'm already a proud follower, and we've seen some posts this weekend. I urge everyone to check it out. Instagram, Geelong Youth Council. And then there's the Youth Postcard Program and the Geelong Youth Awards with the 6 categories that have already been mentioned. But the youth social conscience is so strong. I'm very pleased the Junior Councils quickly answered Councillor Murray his question about mental health, and they recommend that mental health first aid should become part of the secondary school curriculum, and that more teaching staff should be trained to do this. I look forward to our next mentoring program and working with our Bellarine Ward junior councillors, and we certainly do take note of this report and look forward to the next one, scheduled for Tuesday, the 25th of August. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Well spoken. Do we have any other comments from any other councillors? Remember to put your hand up so that I know who's next. Councillor Manane. You need to unmute, Councillor Manane.
You hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think we're starting to fully understand and to appreciate the true value of this initiative of council having our own youth council. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life in local government, different issues come and go, and there seems to be a new priority every week. So having our youth council doing an excellent job of keeping those matters in front of us, which are important to the youth in our society, is something of great value to our work. Regularly reminding us of the importance of matters like climate change and mental health, and in fact the true value of youth is something that I think is very important to us in our work. And we thank them for continuing to bring those matters and keep them in front of us. I think it's worth making a special mention of the importance that we see youth are placing on caring for each other, reaching out and looking after others in the community and reaching out for help when they need it. These words would be fairly familiar to all of us, I'm sure. And I think it reflects what I think was the approach of the pioneers of this country when they faced their challenges, and as a consequence, they developed great communities in Australia, the great communities that we enjoy today, by those simple principles of looking out for each other, helping each other, and reaching out for help when they need it. The reality is we'll become stronger communities, and we'll become a stronger city in a stronger country if we continue to have that approach. So I really do encourage the CEO, Martin Cutter, and his executive to listen to the requests and the recommendations of the General Council, and where possible implement them, because I think there's some great wisdom in the words of our young people. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Manane. Councillor Mansfield.
Thank you, Mayor Asher. I fully support all the comments that have been made by my fellow councillors this evening. I just wanted to do a shout out to the Brownbill Ward councillors. They asked Councillor Murray and I at our last councillor mentoring Connect program meeting if we could do a shout out to them, as some of the other wards have done previously. So Jed, Maddie and Ruby Jane, it was we loved meeting you at our meeting the other week, and I have to say the questions that they asked of both of us were some of the most challenging questions I've faced in a long time, and it was really refreshing to see, how thoughtful and considered the junior councillors are, and how how seriously they take their leadership role. As has been mentioned by other councillors, the advice that we receive from them, I think, is so valuable. They have insights into, a whole range of issues that, as I've said before, it can sometimes be hard for us to see. And I really look forward to hearing more from the council and hope that we can implement the advice that they are providing us.
Thank you, Councillor Mansfield. Any other councillors wish to comment? Councillor Aitken. You need to unmute, Councillor Aitken.
There's a delayed reaction here because I've got NBN, which isn't fibre to the node at my place. It actually just goes past, and then they've created some other connection. So now, but I do want to thank all the junior councillors as well too, as all councillors have actually done, and especially Ashley and Fazana for actually presenting tonight as well too. Thank you very much. And Fazana, you're actually showing great leadership because you're actually allowing the deputy to speak. Now, we never got that last year in our youth council, so you're actually putting your own flavour into the leadership this year as well done. So congratulations. I know Ashley's really proud to have that opportunity that you gave us, and that's something that we want to see all the youth councillors do, to actually create their own leadership and actually create their own representation of the community, but in particular young people under the age of 18, because of course they don't get the opportunity to vote and be on council. The only thing I do wish to talk about and take the opportunity during this time frame is to thank the Youth Council as well too for the issue of mental health and the conversation of mental health. We do have a significant issue and challenge in Geelong at the present time. Sadly, we've had 4 teenage suicides in the last 3 months, which the Youth Council is well aware of. And the coroner's actually, it's been announced in the last week that the coroner's going to start an investigation into that into Geelong. And I'm really proud that we do have the Youth Council now that actually can be a strong representation on this particular issue. It was first raised with us last year by the Youth Council, said that mental health was a major issue in our young people. The sad statistics and loss of people's lives, which is significant in Geelong in the last 3 months, has just brought home to me how significant this issue really is. And I do hope that our junior council continues to press us. I'm a little bit different to Councillor Manane. I don't think it's just the CEO and the management team that have to listen to the Youth Council. I actually think we do as councillors, and I think the broader community does as well too, have to listen to our youth councillors. What I am confident about is that they will rise to this significant challenge in our community at the moment, and I'm confident they will save future lives as well too, because you are ambassadors and role models for all young people in Geelong, and thank you for what you are doing. And I hope that we do listen to the solutions that you bring forward to try to address this significant issue in our community at the present time. So thank you for what you've done, thank you for what you're about to do, and thank you for tackling the most important issues in Geelong at the present time for our young people.
Thank you, Councillor Aitken, and you touch on a very interesting and very important topic there. I'm actually having a conversation with the head of schools for Headspace tomorrow afternoon, so I might touch base with Ashley and Fazana tomorrow after that meeting and just have a chat to you and see if we can work together on something there. Are there any other councillors wishing to have a comment on this particular item? No? We'll go back to Councillor Grisbeck to close.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't think there's too much more that needs to be said, and I think we just want to thank you again for being with us tonight on this live stream, and hopefully soon we'll be able to have all of you in the chamber to represent these views at the next meeting. Let's hope that the restrictions will be lifted and we can actually meet. But electronically is the way we're going at the moment, Madam Mayor, so thank you. Nothing further.
Indeed. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So we'll put this recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Carried. Well done. Now, item 2 is the Sustainability Framework update, and I propose that we defer this matter until the end of July. So I will move a deferral, and seconded Councillor Mansfield. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Carried. I was keen to update the community and keep the conversation going with that particular item, but some councillors did feel that it was too soon after the consultation to digest the team's proposed amendments. So it's a little bit ironic in a way that some people feel we need more time to address an emergency, but that's what happened to us last time. And I think we all genuinely appreciate the importance of getting things right, and sometimes that takes a little bit more time. So item 3, which is the road renaming section of Manzine Avenue, Lara, to be moved by Councillor Grisbeck, moved by Councillor Aitken, seconded by Councillor Grisbeck, I believe. Councillor Aitken. You need to unmute.
I am. It's this buffering of my fibre that I haven't got fibre to my front door. So there's always going to be a buffer. So remember that, what you've done to us, those people that didn't give us proper internet. So what this actual issue is the renaming of Manzine Avenue. Manzine Avenue actually is in the Lara West growth part of Lara. And what's actually happened is that the road's now got a reserve in the middle of it. So it actually has created two sections of the road. The reserve was known that it was going to be created as part of the development plan for the area. So we now have a road that has two parts. And essentially, under the rules that we have in Victoria, you can't call something a northern part and something a southern part. So we've had to work with the developer and come up with a new name. So the proposal was that the northern section of it would be changed to Botanical Drive, and the southern section would remain under the name of Manzine Avenue. The proposal did affect 3 properties, so they'll be shifting from Manzine to Botanical Drive. And the owners have been contacted, which is part of our formal process that we have to do for each of those name changes. The essential thing is to be able to stop any confusion that's out there in the community, especially for our emergency services, so they know precisely which end of the road to be travelling in. And the community that are at home probably see we're actually getting quite a lot of these come before council now every few months, and it actually just reflects the significant development growth that Geelong is going through. And as a consequence, we are having to change and improve a number of these roads throughout the whole of the Geelong region. But for Kylie and I, we're really proud that we've got a simple solution for a similar issue in Lara that's occurring in other parts of Geelong.
Thank you, Councillor Aitken. Councillor Grisbeck.
Thank you. And Councillor Aitken has said most of it. I think the 3 properties that this will affect, one has already contacted us asking for the change of address, and I think the other 2 haven't had any response back to the city. And looking at the map, it is a no-brainer. It is difficult with these new developments that happen inside current existing facilities. So having that renamed will make it a lot easier for people to navigate around that new part of town. And as Councillor Aitken has said, that we've got the responsibility to make sure that all properties can be identified both in a logical manner and also in relation to emergency services as well. Nothing further, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Grisbeck. Anyone else got any comments on this one? No. Councillor Aitken to close.
Nothing further to add, Madam Mayor.
Okay, we'll put the recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Carried. Item 4 is the Central Geelong Marketing Committee extension of committee tenure, to be moved by Councillor Murray and seconded Councillor Contell, I believe. Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In February 2016, the Council supported the Central Geelong special rate to continue for a further 5 years, which takes it up to the 30th of June 2021. Now, this special rate exists to market, promote and activate Central Geelong with the special rate. The Central Geelong Committee exists to operate with that special rate. There's 13 on the committee, and they represent different sectors within Central Geelong. 7 of those, their positions actually become vacant on the 30th of June of this year. So it's thought, because of the current climate, the restrictions on business as a result of the COVID-19, that this recommendation is that those 7 positions extend for a further 12 months to the end of June 2021. So that's a recommendation to extend those 7 positions. There's 4 in the retail business. 1 is arts and culture, 1 is property, and 1 in accommodation sector. So it is simply to extend those 7 positions through to the end of June next year. Madam Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Murray. Councillor Contell.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. You look, at this stage, I'm comfortable to provide my support and endorsement to extend the term of the appointment, and I understand that was coming to an end as of the end of June. And I understand that's what we're achieving tonight, that really the extent of it is just to extend the term for another 12 months. However, Madam Mayor, with this said, and as mentioned at last Tuesday's briefing, myself and Councillor Aitken, for a couple of us at least I know, have been receiving quite a bit of feedback from various property owners and business operators in the CBD, and they're really questioning the effectiveness and the value of the Central Geelong Marketing Committee, and whether it's still favourable and appropriate, offering appropriate value for the investment. So whilst there's obviously been a place for the committee over the years, it is certainly now being questioned as to whether this is the model that's still providing benefits and serving the needs of future Geelong in the CBD. And there's been several suggestions that perhaps the Central Geelong special rate may be better served supporting a fresh approach to promoting and driving the engagement and activities in the CBD, whilst also enhancing the economic and social opportunities. And this may come in the form of some sort of a post-COVID task force. We keep saying that these are unusual and unprecedented times, and as such, our approach must equally be dynamic and innovative to tackle challenges that we have today that we didn't have post or pre-COVID-19. So whilst we're not going to deal with that tonight, we need to put it on the record that this is an area of council that must be considered, it has to be reviewed, and it needs to be addressed in the not-too-distant future if we're going to ensure that the Geelong CBD is successful into the future. So I'll leave it at that for the time being, but I do put it on record that I'll be working with councillors and Councillor Aitken to review this matter in not-too-distant future.
Thank you, Councillor Contell. Planted some seeds there, so that's good. Have any other councillors got comments on this item? No? Okay, go back. Oh, Councillor Aitken, go.
Thank you very much, Mayor Asher. And because of my buffering, I already had unmuted on the councillor that was speaking before. So I've already learnt a little lesson to help expedite tonight's meeting. So I don't waste any more of my valuable time because we do have 3 minutes only to be able to speak as each councillor. Look, I strongly endorse what Councillor Contell has actually said. This is actually an extra rate that only people in the CBD of Geelong actually pay. No one else pays it throughout the rest of the city of Greater Geelong. It has been around for over 20 years in different forms, and the decision tonight is really just to extend the governing committee for another 12 months. But essentially, we need to spend the next 12 months reviewing this particular rate. What we do have to do is find out if the people who are paying it are actually getting value for it. The Local Government Act is quite strong in terms where it says that we can only strike a new rate or special charge if those people who are paying it are getting value from it. And certainly from the representations that have been made to Councillor Contell and myself over the last 6 weeks, a great number of commercial ratepayers in the CBD of Geelong are saying they don't believe they're getting value from it. So it is the appropriate time for us to do that review, and we should be having clear measures of what that value actually is in terms of our expectations and those people who are actually paying the extra levy and rate as well too. And I hope the framework with a task force, which actually has some high-profile representatives on it, to actually look at this as one of probably 5 or 6 major issues that Councillor Contell and myself actually believe the task force should be having a look into in terms of the CBD. My interest is certainly under the portfolio of finance, so I'm really interested in about our commercial rates. I'm interested in these additional rates that come from this particular levy as well too, and in terms of what value the community and in particular the business community and where our rates actually sit compared to other municipals, local government authorities around Victoria as well too. It has been a while since we've actually done a bit of a benchmark to see where we actually sit compared to our neighbours, and also where we sit to comparable local government organisations as well too. So it is appropriate that during the next 12 months before this existing levy finishes, that we do a significant review and investigation into it, whether this committee and structure is of value, whether the actual activities that we have said the extra rate actually pays for needs to be reviewed as well too now, because we're now in a post-COVID environment of significant innovation and IT and other new mechanisms that probably the CBD business community could actually benefit from, as opposed to more traditional marketing methods that the committee has actually undertaken for the last 20 years. So I'm looking forward to the review. I'm looking forward to working with Councillor Contell to establish that task force and bringing a notice of motion to Council in the next month or so, or to actually seek the endorsement of our fellow councillors to support that major initiative and work with our business community and representatives of the CBD to help revitalise and make the most of the challenges that we now confront.
Thank you, Councillor Aitken. I was flashing my mute button on and off there to give you a warning that your 3 minutes was getting close, I think, but thank you for that. Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you to all my councillors for the words before me. Just on the actual topic at hand with the recommendation to extend the terms of the current committee members, I will just voice my support of that. I believe right now, given the circumstances that we are under, continuity in leadership is most certainly a valuable aspect, and when we can implement that to get through this crisis, we should. In regards to the conversations about the effectiveness of the committee, being quite familiar with Central Geelong marketing myself, I'm familiar with a lot of good work that they do. Regarding the ratepayers' dollar, we should always be on top of if we are getting the most value for our ratepayers' money. But I would just put out there that a review into this may actually reinforce the effectiveness of the committee and reinforce the good work that they do. So I shouldn't believe that this should be taken as negative aspect or connotation or suggestion, but really just making sure that we are crossing, all the T's and dotting all the I's to get the best bang that we can. And with that, I'll just say that I am supportive of this recommendation.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Do we have any other comments on this one? Councillor Manane.
Thank you, Mayor Asher. Look, I'm happy to support the motion. But having said that, I'm a bit like the previous councillors. I'd like to see a review of this program. And without repeating everything's already been said, there's a couple of issues that I'd like to address. Is that because we've seen a real change in the nature of city retailing, the two things that come to my mind in a review, one would be the relationship between the Geelong CBD, the suburban shopping centres, the regional shopping centres, and online shopping itself. So I think the marketing possibly would become a little bit broader in its focus, and also with the proposed tool that has been put together with Brand Geelong, I think there's a whole new approach that could be reviewed here, whether or not it goes that far. But certainly, I'd like to see that side of it explored to see whether there can be a broader application and benefit to the region.
Thank you, Councillor Manane. Any other councillors wishing to speak on this topic? Back to Councillor Murray to close.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. And because I just wanted to highlight that the comments made by Councillor Contell and Councillor Aitken tonight are not relevant to this issue they're actually voting on tonight, and it's something completely separate from this issue, as Councillor Sullivan has alluded to. And I note the Mayor's comments that it's good that Councillor Contell had planted the seeds in relation to it. I was involved 5 years ago when the was extended again to the 30th of June of next year, and I can say that there's significant consultation was involved then, public hearings involved as to whether a further 5 years should be granted, and it'd be the same case going into next year before it expired in the June of next year. So I just want to make those comments in relation to that, but nothing further, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you, Councillor Murray. On that note, we'll put the recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? Carried. On to the last item, which is the council meeting during COVID-19 and an update to the public question and submission time policy. That's a bit of a mouthful. Now I'm going to move this one, and I believe Councillor Grisbeck is going to second. Thank you. Now this is actually updating our policy for public questions and submissions in the chamber in line with recent changes to the Local Government Act. In April, the Victorian Government passed the Omnibus, which enacted temporary changes to the Local Government Act, specifically relating to the COVID-19 pandemic response and how we can actually conduct council meetings. And this is our first session, as I said, about the virtual meetings. Since the lockdown, we've had the council meetings without members of the public in the gallery, but we have live streamed the meetings and continue to do that, and we do publish recordings of the meetings online. Public questions and submissions to council have also been received online as usual, and it's been something that we've been discussing in detail because we do recognise that people do really appreciate the opportunity to ask questions and to come into the gallery. So it's not a decision that we ever take lightly. We do agonise over how we can do that effectively, but community safety in the period during the lockdown was obviously the priority, and also following the restrictions set by the state government. So the public question and submission time policy has now been updated to reflect those temporary amendments that have been introduced by what is the Emergency Measures Act and the ministerial guidelines as well. So without going into any more detail, I might let Councillor Grisbeck talk to this one a little bit too, and then we can go from there. Councillor Grisbeck.
I might just reserve my right at the moment, Madam Mayor, please.
Absolutely. Is anyone else interested in having a conversation about this one? Councillor Contell.
I apologise. Thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, supportive of the report, and look, I guess any changes that can happen in an environment that still ensures the safety and health of our community, but starts to lead us to a road of normalisation, I applaud. But the sooner that we can allow the public back into the chamber, watching the debates live, having them participate live, going through the questions and being able to speak to those, whether that be that they disagree with what we're doing, that they're bringing suggestions forward or requiring answers, I think it couldn't be quick enough. I think the community's done a great job working with us, as has the council, to try to adapt to the circumstances that have been forced upon us. But there's no doubt that as councillors, I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us, that the sooner that we can see the community back in the chamber engaging with us as we once remember it, the better it will be for not only council but for the city of Greater Geelong.
Absolutely agree, Councillor Contell. Councillor Mansfield.
Thank you, Mayor Asher. Yeah, I similarly am really finding the lack of question time at the beginning of our meetings as it's really taken something away from the meetings. I thank those community members who continue to submit questions and appreciate that it's definitely not the same thing when you can't be there to ask your question. And given time restrictions on our face-to-face meetings, we haven't even really had the opportunity to read them out or respond to them in the way that we normally would. And some of that has been really the response to the state government requirements around social distancing and a desire to keep the community as safe as possible. But absolutely agree, the sooner we can find a way to safely have community members participate in our meetings again, the better. It really, I think, is one of the more important parts of our meetings, and it's a really important way for the community to have their voice heard. There's nothing quite like having members of the community come up and ask us questions and keep us all to account in that public arena. So I support this report, but as Councillor Contell has said, can't wait to have the community back in the chamber, once again holding us to account.
Hear, hear. Well said, Councillor Mansfield. Do we have any other comments on this particular item? This is the last one for the night, so Councillor Aitken.
Thank you, Mayor Asher. Yeah, look, I echo the same words as what everybody else has said as well too. We all are missing public question time. I actually love the theatre of local government and local politics. And one of the important parts of that theatre is actually having the community with you in front of you, and also having the community present their questions to you. This council has actually been very successful in embracing public question time and allowing the community into the decision-making process that we are part of as councillors. And I'm really proud of how that was led by the former mayor, Councillor Harwood. So if you don't restand Councillor Harwood, the legacy that you've left in this council has been really good for public question time, and I thank you for that. And I thank the current mayor for continuing on that legacy that Councillor Harwood has created about engaging with the community during public question time. Public question time is really good to provide sunlight on local government. Our officers don't enjoy public question time as much as what we do as councillors, because the community essentially is wanting to get answers, and usually a number of the questions that they're presenting to us are quite strong. For Kylie and I, public question time and engagement with the community has been really important with some issues for us. The goat issue in Lara would not have reached the same success that it did if we didn't have public question time and the ability for the community to participate in the decision-making process. And it's the same as well too with the illegal waste dumping facility in Broderick Road as well too. They were very much the community was able to strongly put their views about those issues and remind the council of our responsibility and assist us with the decisions that we ultimately made in those areas. So I endorse all the words that have been spoken by all the other councillors at this point in time. We miss it. Hopefully it will return when COVID-19 formal restrictions are off, and the theatre of local government and local politics can be centre stage again at City Hall and our community focus meetings, because we must also remember that our community focus meetings where we took these meetings out into our community have been really successful as well too, but COVID-19 has meant we haven't been able to do that. So it wasn't just giving people a chance to ask questions, it was also taking the meetings out to places like Anarchy and St Leonard's that had never had council meetings before, and they were quite successful. And I look forward to some of those really good initiatives that this council should be proud of to be returning again after COVID-19, and the community gets the full opportunity to participate in local government.
Thank you, Councillor Aitken. Any other comments on this item? Councillor Grisbeck?
Thank you, Mayor Asher. And I think most of it has been said already by my fellow councillors, so thank you for that. I think we've got to remember that this is a temporary measure, and that hopefully by 1st of November we will open the council chamber back up again and have those interactions with our community that we expect, and we want that. And as Councillor Mansfield has said, that we expect to be held to account for those particular issues. I think the City of Greater Geelong has been a little bit in front of these changes. We've introduced live streaming quite a little while ago, and I think it's benefiting us now in this current environment that we have at the moment. The Minister for Local Government did change the rules which we needed to happen, which allows us to meet virtually like this at home at the moment. And I think some of these changes that are in this policy reflect the moving nature of the environment that we can engage with our community. And, I for one think that this virtual opportunity is really exciting as a mum and as someone that lives not in the CBD. It's actually kind of nice once you finish a council meeting to go inside and be part of your family instead of having to drive all that way home. That's just something from my perspective, but I really think that this opportunity that we're doing this live on the stream tonight is really showing how progressive we are, and the idea that we want to remain transparent to our community and that we can live stream from wherever we are is a really good thing. that's probably all I've got, Madam Mayor.
Well said, Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Look, I'll just close in saying that the incidence of COVID and the restrictions has really highlighted some process issues that I think we've all learned a lot from, and virtual meetings is one. And I think we've also realised that what we would really like to be able to do is have the opportunity to do a hybrid model where we're in the actual chamber by choice with the public in the gallery. But if somebody can't actually attend in person, that they can still actually attend virtually, and that's something that we'll be working on. And that's to make it more inclusive, certainly for mums or any parents at home, or people who work shifts, or people who can't actually get down to City Hall in the CBD at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, which is a time that I think suits nobody. So, yeah, that's one of the things that we're working on from a process point of view. And the team's done a great job, and a shout out to Jake and Rebecca and the team and Dean for getting the virtual system up tonight. We had a couple of hitches, but we're getting there, and that's what it's all about. One of the other things with this policy is people do obviously submit their questions in writing, and they're due in by 12 p.m. or 12 lunchtime on the day before the council meeting. Now, something I've really noticed, and it's been highlighted, since we don't have people coming into the chamber at all, we're really dependent on those submissions and what time they arrive. And I think sometimes people send them on a Friday or a Saturday and they think that they come straight to us, and they actually don't. They go into the team, and we often don't see the submissions and the answers and all of that process until the day of the meeting, which is an interesting process piece that I think we can improve as well, to make sure that the answers are more fulsome and more of a greater quality from a councillor perspective. The team do a really good job, but I think we can contribute there as well. One of the other changes here is that the Chief Executive Officer henceforth will determine how questions and submissions can be read out and answered safely at a council meeting. And that really, I suppose, highlights the fact that it is an operational issue, and the safety of our community is absolutely our number one priority at all times. And I'm satisfied that the approach that we're taking with public questions and submissions, although it's not ideal because, people aren't there in person just yet, I'm happy to move the fact that this is a pretty good solution in the meantime. So if everybody's happy to vote on this one, I'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? Carried. And that was the last item for the evening. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And again, particular thanks to our junior